So the channel is time invariant and the channel is known at the transmitter and the receiver. So first we will talk about a simple channel which is a single input multiple output channel. The equation for the single input multiple output channel is given by Y subscript L M is equal to HL XM plus WL ML, where L is equal to 1 to L. This is noise, additive white Gaussian noise, and this HL is basically giving you an idea that this is a Gaussian channel. When this system or this channel is Gaussian, in which when HL is known at the transmitter and the receiver, it is time invariant, and the HL is deterministic, it's not fading channel. So that is basically a Gaussian channel. WLM is given by complex noise distribution 0 and naught. HL is fixed complex channel gain from TX antenna to Lth RX antenna. So this fixing is making it a Gaussian channel compared to the fading channel. So what is the estimated YM, or how can we calculate the detected signal from the received signal? So Y delta M is equal to H Hermitian YM. If we multiply the received signal YM with H Hermitian, so then this is a sufficient statistic to calculate the received or the transmitted symbols XM from from the Gaussian channel H. Ym is a vector, y1, m, y2, m, y3, ylm, because we are receiving at L receive antennas. So if we make it simple, H is equal to H1, H2, HL. So because this is a channel across all the receive antennas, so Y tilde M is equal to Frobenius norm square into XM plus H emission YM, because if you multiply this H emission with H, it gives you H norm square XM plus H emission WM. So the statistics of this new noise variable is complex normal distribution with mean 0 and variance N0 into H square. This is AWGN channel with SNR, received SNR to be equal to P power into H square divided by N0, because SNR now would be, this power of the expected power of XM, which is P multiplied with H square, which is the power of the channel, divided by the power of the noise, which is N0 H square. So we have the SNR to be equal to this. Because the power is the power square of this thing divided by the square of this thing, which is already sigma square. So this is H to the power 4 into X square M. X square M is equal to P. So the X squares and the numerator and square, the denominator will cancel with each other. So P is the average transmit energy per symbol. So if we have SNR, so if we take the formula of capacity, which is equal to log of 1 plus SNR. So if you put the SNR, we get this thing. So C is equal to log of 1 plus BH square over N0, bits per second per hertz, or bits per transmission. So what we see here is multiple receive antennas increase the receive SNR and provide a power gain. And the above combining scheme, which is given in equation A, is basically called receive beamforming. We have seen this before as well. So now we talk about transmit beamforming, which is applied to MISO channel. So MISO means multiple input single output channel. So YM would be equal to, we pre-code the channel with H Hermitian and multiply it with the symbols that are being transmitted plus WM. So H is basically a fixed channel gain vector, because we are talking about Gaussian channels. Now the total power constraint P across L antennas is given. So what we do is we send information in the direction of H. Information in orthogonal direction will be nulled by the channel anyway. Orthogonal directions means to H vector. So set xm is equal to H over H norm into x dash of m. This is actual symbols. So my such channel is reduced to full scalar AWGN channel. Ym would be equal to H norm of x tilde m plus Wm. So now P is the power constraint in x dash or x tilde m. So if C would be equal to, the capacity would be equal to, again would be SNR, it is this SNR. So MISO with channel state information at the transmitter plus channel state information at the receiver is equal to SIMO with CSIR. So these two values, or these two values of capacity for MISO and SIMO will be same if these are the conditions. So the above scheme can be shown to be the best scheme. So now we go for the frequency selective channel. The equation for the frequency selective channel is given by Ym is equal to sum of L is equal to 0 to L minus 1 HL XM minus L plus WM, where L time invariant channel is used because frequency selective channel is L time invariant channel, and this number of taps is known at the transmitter and the receiver. So the frequency selective channel can be converted into NC independent parallel channels when we talked about OFDM. If you remember from your previous lectures on OFDM, independent parallel channel means independent subcarriers by adding a CP. As you remember, when we add a CP in the time domain of the symbols that we transmit, a prefix as a prefix. So what happens is that we have a circular convolution in time domain, but that circular convolution, if we take the Fourier transform, so in frequency domain, it is a simple multiplication of the symbols with the channels. So we have parallel channels. There is no convolution in the frequency domain. So we have a DFT of the system. So for the OFDM block diagram, block above, we can write this Yni is equal to Hn into Dni plus Wni for n is equal to 0 to nc minus 1 number of carriers. So what we have here is Di is equal to Da vector is equal to this vector, Wi the noise vector is this vector, and Yi receive signal vector is this vector. What is H? H is the DFT of the channel, and the length of the DFT is equal to the number of carriers. So we see that as we increase the number of carriers to infinity, the CP overhead, that is L minus 1 or L minus tends to 0. So the capacity of original frequency selective channel is transformed into the capacity of transformed parallel L channels as NC goes to infinity. So what we have at the end of the day, if we are calculating the capacity of frequency selective channels, we have a set of NC parallel channels with an overall power constraint of P. So capacity is achieved by capacity achieving AWGN codes for each of these channels, plus optimum power allocation across channels. So we have a optimization problem here. So what is the optimization problem? CNC is equal to maximum of P naught P to P and C minus 1. So we have to allocate powers across each carrier in a way that we can maximize the capacity. So maximum overall powers, and number of powers is equal to the number of carriers. So it is equal to the maximum of P naught to PNC minus 1, sum of n is equal to 0 to NC minus 1, log of 1 plus Pn Hn tilde square divided by n naught. So this is a signal to noise ratio for each subcarrier. Okay, so when we sum of all these signal to noise ratios, taking the log and maximizes overall powers, we get the capacity according to NC with the total number of subcarriers. The constraint here is that the sum of all the carriers powers should be equal or smaller than P. So this is the power constraint. So how we do optimal power allocation? If you see this function, sum of n is equal to 0 to nc minus 1 log of 1 plus p n hn square divided by n naught. It is jointly concave in the powers. Jointly concave in the powers means that this is one power and this is another power. So it's a maximization problem. Minimization problems are convex. This is a maximization problems. So we have a maximum value. Jointly concave means that we have two powers. One is the channel gains or channel powers Hn square, the other is the transmit signal powers. So we are multiplying these two powers. So that is why they are called jointly concave. The product of these two would define the maximum point. So we use the Lagrangian method to solve this dual problem, where L Lagrangian is given by sum of n is equal to Nc minus 1 log of 1 plus Pn Hn square divided by n naught, signal to noise ratio across each carrier, plus the constraint, and the constraint value lambda into sum of n is equal to 0 to Nc minus 1 Pn minus 1 P. So this was the constraint. So in the dual problem, by solving the Lagrangian method, we take the optimum function, objective function, and also add the constraint. So by using this KKT condition, if we take the differential of the Lagrangian with respect to power, we have equal to 0 if Pn is equal to greater than 0, or n is equal to n to Nc minus 1, and this differential could be equal to 0 or less than 0 if Pn is equal to 0. So what is Pn star? That is equal to minus 1 over lambda minus n naught over Hn square plus means that V minus n naught Hn square plus or minus 1 over lambda is defined as V. So what we are seeing here is that we choose delta such that the sum of this Pn star power is equal to P. This is the power constraint in NCP as given in text. So above solution can be interpreted as a water filling power allocation. The optimal strategy is not to allocate all available power to the AWGN channel with the highest SNR. So this is what we have. This is V, this is the blocks, and this is the water filling. So this point is N naught over Hn square. So this means that Hn is equal to 1 over under root Nc. Sum of L is equal to 0 to L minus 1 HL e to the power minus j2 pi Ln over Nc. Thus if we take HF, P equal to sum of HL e to the power minus j2 pi Lf divided by W, where F is equal to 0 to W. This is evaluated at F is equal to sample point n omega over Nc. This is scaled by 1 over Nc. So Hn is given by this h n omega function divided by Nc. So as Nc goes to infinity, P conjugate or P star of F is equal to V minus n naught over Hf square plus. So if integrated 0 to W, P conjugate of Tf is equal to P. So C would be, or the capacity would be equal to integration of 0 to W log of 1 plus P star F Hf square divided by naught into Tf. So this is called coding across subcarriers. Does not increase capacity, improve performance for low block lengths. So the details of the calculations done before is given here. So you can go and see the details by yourself. These notes will be shared. So the important point here is that we have this equation. How to interpret this water fitting solution? Start with channel with less SNR. Okay, use more channels as more power becomes available. More power for channels with higher SNR. It means that we have higher SNR, give more power to those channels or those subcarriers. When P goes to infinity, it is better to have uniform power allocation. Is also good. This also goes to optimal solution. Thank you. If we go into the detail, you will get here. So if we go to the details, we can see the details. There's optimal power allocation across parallel Gaussian channels. The capacity is given by this. Maxima is over Pn. Sum of n is equal to 0 to nc minus 1 log of 1 plus Pn Hn square by n naught. So this problem has a constraint which is subject to sum of n is equal to 0 to nc minus 1. Pn is smaller or equal to p or Pn greater or equal to 0, where n goes from 0 to nc minus 1 number of subcarriers. It means that power across each subcarrier should be less than 0, so that total cannot be greater than 0. This problem can also be given the inverse problem. Minimize Pn or sum of n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 minus log of 1 plus Pn squared, subject to sum of all carrier powers is smaller than P or minus Pn is smaller or equal to 0. So the convex optimization problem in standard form. So this is actually concave. If we minimize, it would be a convex. Now, so minimize f naught x for given x subject to two constraints fix, hix, where fi, hi are convex functions. These are all convex functions. So this is a convex optimization problem. So what we can do is use this convex optimization problem and take the Lagrangian. Lagrangian would be equal to minus of sum of n is equal to 0 log of 1 plus signal to noise ratio across each subcarrier plus delta, the constraint, plus another constraint called Bn minus Bn. So we have two constraints, one is this, the other is this. So the optimal x or optimal Px star satisfy the KKT conditions. So for this KKT conditions, go to the details at page number 244 to 45, Boyd and Vanderberg convex optimization from Cambridge University Press. So the first thing is Fix star is smaller or equal to 0 for I is equal to 1 to m. This is number 1 feasible KKT condition. The second condition is Hix conjugate is equal to 0, I is equal to 1 to beta. It's equation number 2. Delta I is greater than 0, I is equal to 1 to m. And delta I Fix conjugate is equal to 0, I to m. So if put these values, equation number 5 would be gradient of f naught x star plus sum of delta I gradient of Fix star plus sum of I is equal to 1 to p, pi di hxi is equal to 0. These conditions translate to the following equations in our problem. 5 gives you delta Lagrange by delta Pn is equal to 0. At Pn is equal to Pn star, you get equation A. From equation number 4, you get this thing. From equation number 4 again, you can get this thing. From 3, you get this thing. From 2, no equality constraint in our problem. So if you put all these values, from 1 we get this, from A we get this. Using C, you get this value. And either Pn star is equal to 0 or lambda is equal to 0. So we all need Pn star is greater than 0. So Pn star would be equal to max of 0 1 over lambda minus n naught or hn square is equal to 1 over lambda minus n naught hn square. So using all the power gives better capacity here. The sum of Pn star is equal to P is equal to lambda is found by solving equation. So also equation B. So optimal power allocation solutions given by these two equations. Thank you.